Make Believe Revue sounded great and it started off really well. And then, after about a third of the way through, it became very repetitive and not very interesting. This was released in 1935. It's written and directed by Ben Harrison, with a voice cast including Dorothy Compton, Beatrice Hagen, Mary Moder, and the Sportsmen Quartet. And I do love Colour Rhapsody cartoons. They're generally really good. And this one, it started off really well. We go off to the land of Mother Goose and the different stories, fairy stories and nursery rhymes. And we see, for example, the old woman who lived in a shoe and had so many children she didn't know what to do. And there are other classic characters along the way. And then they all put on a performance. But the characters who put on the performances are really dull. And I don't think they utilised the right characters for the performances. I don't think the music was very entertaining. There's nothing wrong with the music. The music isn't bad, but I didn't find it to be interesting. And the animation itself, I think there's a really good attention to detail. And the characters do look good, even though I think they maybe selected the wrong characters to do the performances. Visually, the characters do look good. However, it also has a very red and green colour palette. This is quite typical of a lot of early cartoons. It's not the fault of the cartoon, but it's not something that I love. Whenever there's a cartoon that's got the classic red and green colour palette, it's rare that I'll find it visually brilliant. And unfortunately, this is not one of them. So it's a good idea, but after about a third of the way through, it became very repetitive. I don't think they incorporated the right characters. The music, although not bad, is not that interesting to listen to, and the colour palette is quite unappealing. So unfortunately, Make Believe Revue isn't... I'm not going to say I don't recommend it, because if you're a fan of Colour Rhapsodies in general, then sure, check it out. There are some interesting things about it, mostly at the beginning. But at the same time, I thought I'd be jumping for joy when I read the description of this on IMDb before I was watching, and I thought, that's right up my street. That sounds fantastic. And I was kind of disappointed. And I don't even think it's a case of I was expecting too much, because there are plenty of cartoons that utilise nursery rhyme characters with some good music and animation and fun characters, and it can be done. But sadly, with Make Believe Revue, it just didn't deliver. Watch it if it sounds like it would appeal to you. You might like bits of it that I didn't care for. In general, there are some good moments, but ultimately it did not meet my expectations.